water rolls downhill, seeking its own level, never asking why it cannot defy your gravity. Soil beneath the surface knows the purpose of the rain, beauty in the balance, Mother Nature's way, moving, changing, growing, always ever knowing it owes nothing to the world, but just to be. The leaves fall when they're supposed to fall, roots are when the growing begins. Has it ever occurred to you that you are powerful beyond all measure? Has it ever occurred to you that you are powerful beyond all measure? Has it ever occurred to you that you are seeking faith outside yourself? All the love you need is, all the love is right where you are. Planets and the sun, circling in space, using one's own gravity to hold another in its place. I wonder if they know the path is a part of the whole thing, the whole thing. Fall in love with being, fall in love with growing, fall in love with life itself, and you'll know what I mean. You are not alone. No, you are part of everything. Has it ever occurred to you that you are powerful beyond all measure? Has it ever occurred to you that you are beautiful on many levels? Has it ever occurred to you that you are seeking faith outside yourself? And all the love you need is, all the love is right where you are. We're made of light, we're made of power and of pure love. The same atoms and the molecules of stardust. Think about these things and how you're made and how they can trust the rhythm of the universe, the synergy of love. Stand into the possibilities that you can amplify. The purpose in this life and how you're more than qualified to multiply the ways that we can change the universe and try to write the story differently, and we were made to unify. It's time to rise, I can't breathe. It's time to rise. It's time to rise. Has it ever occurred to you, you are powerful beyond all measure? Has it ever occurred to you that you are beautiful on many levels? Has it ever occurred to you that you are seeking fame outside yourself? All the love you need is, all the love is right where you are.
Well, that was fun. So fun. Was that John?
That was John.
John Baldwin in the back doing some harmony. This guy. All sorts of talents. Okay. Ready? So we're finishing up Ordinary Mysticism today, and what have we learned? Take your time. anyone can be a mystic. It's not for the special ones. Well, in truth, everyone is special. Yes, and so the invitation is to see our ordinary, messy lives as sacred, as the opportunity in everything that we do to connect with the sacred, right? To see our own life as holy ground. If it's true, as we say every Sunday, we'll close with, wherever we are, God is, love is, then it is true, wherever we are on holy ground. And do we sort of treat ourselves that way? Do we see that capacity in our everyday life? And it's not easy because, I don't know about you, but I have a few things that keep me busy, right? Keep me distracted, keep me exhausted, keep me in a cycle of... So it takes some intentionality to connect inwardly, to value the depth within us as much as all of the doing and the being behind the doing. So ultimately, this last chapter reminds us that life is really an ever-unfolding process of becoming, right? Just as the butterfly, that caterpillar becomes a whole different creature. What if that is, in a sense, what we are here to do? Now, it'd be fun. I've had dreams I can fly. I don't know that it will necessarily be a physical change, but we're being rearranged from the inside out to recognize the depth of us and to bring that forward more and more and more. Living the life of an ordinary mystic is, in fact, to simplify a bit, to return to and protect our contemplative nature, to get still and to connect with all that arises within us and to meet it with acceptance rather than judgment or resistance. So our ability to be in this world and to also conceive of and live as though we believe in this idea that we are also connected to the vastness of the universe. Who you have come here to be is part of a masterful plan. And yet, my experience shows that I'm 56 years old and just being like, who the hell am I? There's another version. There's another version. And in part, it's breaking free of some of the limitations that society and culture and religion and all the things put on us, but that we also not naturally, I don't know if it's natural or not, but we end up taking it on and living as though it's true. So Mirabai says this: living as a mystic does not mean you conform to a preconceived notion of purity and perfection. Whew. It means you abide in your humanity. You are still going to make bad choices sometimes. Lose your temper with people you love. Engage in addictive behaviors and get caught in painful thought patterns you believe you should be free of. And you might still collapse into apathy in the face of catastrophic world events. What it does mean is that you bear witness to your own experience of this human condition with curiosity and tenderness, recognizing that you are an integral member of the vast family of created beings, and that this life is a school for waking up and growing closer to the divine, however it is that you experience that. So for those of us on that path of awakening, the truth is it's bumpy, it's messy. I know there are some of us, myself included, that was just sure if I got in the right lane and got to the right stage, it would be glorious. No more problems. Wah, wah. Yeah. So today we're looking at this process of metamorphosis as a model, really, for that process of awakening and becoming and rebecoming. Liz is going to cue up a short little video that just reminds us it's a magical process. And it gives us, I hope, we're going to find ourselves today in that process. You can get a sense of if you're in the goop. Are you dissolving? Are you reforming? Are you out and your wings are flapping all over the place? Or are you settled in a new experience of your next evolution? So just for funsies, we're going to watch this quick little educational video to remind us of the process of metamorphosis.
In the quiet corners of gardens, forests, and meadows, a beautiful transformation takes place, one of nature's most delicate and awe-inspiring stories. This is the life cycle of a butterfly, a story of change, growth, and resilience. Let's take a closer look. Everything begins with an egg no bigger than the head of a pin. A female butterfly carefully lays her eggs on the underside of leaves, often choosing a very specific host plant. She knows instinctively which plant her young will need to survive. These eggs, though small and unassuming, carry within them the first breath of life. From the outside, they may appear still, but inside, something is stirring. After a few days, or even weeks depending on the species and environment, the egg hatches, and from it emerges a tiny, hungry creature. Meet the larva, better known as the caterpillar. This is the eating phase. The caterpillar has one mission: to eat as much as possible. Leaf after leaf, bite after bite, it consumes everything it can to grow. In fact, a caterpillar may increase its body size thousands of times in just a few weeks. As it grows, it sheds its skin multiple times in a process known as molting. With each shed, it becomes larger and more prepared for the great change to come. But perhaps most fascinating is how the caterpillar instinctively knows when it's ready for its next phase of life. When it's time, the caterpillar finds a safe spot, often hanging upside down from a branch or leaf. It forms a protective shell around itself. This casing is called a chrysalis or pupa. Now, it may seem as though nothing is happening, but deep within, a dramatic transformation called metamorphosis is underway. The caterpillar's body is breaking down and reorganizing itself into something entirely new. Wings, antennae, and the slender form of a butterfly slowly take shape. Days or even weeks pass in silence, and then a miracle occurs. The chrysalis begins to tremble. A crack appears, and slowly, gently, a butterfly emerges. At first, its wings are soft, crumpled, and wet, but within minutes, it begins to pump fluid through them, expanding and strengthening them in the light of day. Soon, the butterfly is ready. It flutters, then soars, taking to the skies in its first graceful flight. It will feed on nectar, pollinate flowers, and seek a mate. And when the time comes, it will lay eggs of its own and begin the cycle again. The butterfly's journey is more than biological, it's symbolic. From stillness to movement, from crawling to soaring, from humble beginnings to breathtaking beauty. Each stage serves its purpose. Each change is necessary. It reminds us that growth often comes from transformation, and that even in the quiet, hidden moments of our lives, something beautiful may be unfolding. So next time you see a butterfly dancing through the air, pause for a moment. Behind that fragile frame is a powerful story, one that began with a tiny egg and became a living miracle. This is the life cycle of a butterfly.
I don't remember that guy talking so fast when I found that video. And he said Metamorphosis is funny. Was he an AI guy? Yes. Okay, I should have asked you first. All right, well, it was still interesting. Still a great reminder, right? That we too start as a little seed and end up as a miracle of life. So, during its brief life, the caterpillar may grow 100 times its original size. To do all this growing, it has to shed several times. That's key for us as well. In order to grow, we will have to shed some of the skin. That's weird, that's gross, but the confines of who we've thought ourselves to be, right? To do all this growing, it must shed skin again and again. And Mirabai says this, and so it is with you. Sometimes recklessly, other times with discernment, you consume spiritual studies and practices, drawing sustenance from many sources. You eat teachings and teachers, not literally. Psychotherapy and fitness. You come to understand the neuroscience of trauma and mindfulness practice. You metabolize failures and violations, growing your capacity for integrating grief and loss. And you subsist on awe and wonder and grow plump on gratitude. I just love her way with words. So I just encourage us all to take a moment and consider wherever you are on your life's journey, all the things that you have learned along the way, right? Whether that be from books or teachers or mystical experiences or your children or your parents. Where have you learned the most? I'm curious. Anyone? From life experience, yeah? Through suffering. Letting go. Mistakes. Romantic relationships. Grief. Teaching others. Learning something new. Yeah. Your cat. Yes. Children. That is what it means to claim your life as sacred. So sometimes we make it into so much more, yeah? But it's all of those moments along the way. If you were at bingo yesterday, that's a whole nother story. But at some point, I just randomly said, who in here doesn't even feel like the same person they were this time last year? And half the room was like. And, you know, it's like there are sort of rituals and milestones along the way when we're younger, and then we're just plopped into adulthood. And we figure it out. So that chrysalis stage is the most, Mirabai says this, is the most enchanting, disconcerting, and inevitable stage of the metamorphosis process, when the caterpillar becomes the chrysalis. Once it is fully grown, it stops eating and suspends itself from a branch, as we saw that. And it spins a silken cocoon and nestles itself inside. This is where the magic unfolds. Everything the caterpillar was begins to dissolve, and it turns into a puddle of organic goop. Have you ever felt like that? Anybody here today in the organic goop stage? All right, let's be gentle with our chrysalis friends, right? We've all been there. It's literally, as I said before, though we don't change physically, sometimes we even do. But for sure, things are getting rearranged inside. And that is, Joe said, suffering. It can be painful. And I love to think about what that poor caterpillar, you want to talk about pain. But look at what I've become, right? So here comes the glimmer of hope for those of you in the deep of Goop. Those special cells called imaginal cells. That is what takes place when that is happening, when the body of the caterpillar is becoming the goop. These special cells called imaginal cells come to life, and at first the dying caterpillar sort of sees them as a threat and sort of there's an attack process that happens. But the imaginative cells unite in such a way that they win over. The process tips into becoming a new creature. Oh, that's so fun. Imaginal cells. So 2 things I want to say about that. There's a tipping point for us too, isn't there? Where where we might be caught in the past, where we might be wanting even to move forward, but we have things like, who do you think you are, or you can't, or you don't know enough, or you're not young enough, or smart, blah, 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 blah. And the question is, are we going to tip that way? Or are we going to tip into the possibility of what's calling us? The new version, whatever that is for you, right? Our tipping point, it's interesting because we're conscious of it. We're conscious, we get to choose which part of the narrative we lock in on. Is it that we have infinite potential and that we are here to constantly expand and grow into our next best evolution? Or is it to come back into limit and into fear and into apathy? We are also gifted with this magical ability of imagination, which we in Unity consider one of our 12 spiritual powers. We have the capacity to conceive of something, to have an idea, and to visualize it so strongly that we feel as if it is already true. That is a great teaching that I think has been probably taught a lot. That you have to recognize many times we wait for conditions to be right. Once I get this handled, and once I've got everything together, and once that person gets their crap together, and this and that and this, and that, then I can step into my vision. But the reality is, when we embody it, then conditions begin to shape around us. That's a powerful difference. That's how powerful we are. And this is what The Secret and all the manifestation teachings are about. If you believe it, you can be it. We can't wait around until you believe you can be it. I mean, that's what we end up doing, right? Is it just me? Okay. So, how cool is that? And here's the thing, we can use that power of imagination in any direction, can't we? We can spend our time drumming up whole big stories about what's going to happen and how terrible it's going to be and how we're going to be whatever. And then conditions might form around that. So it's, again, the power of our choosing what we tap into. And to know that our capacity to imagine it, to conceive of it, to hold the vision of it as if it were so, is the first step in making it so. Is that exciting? Yeah. All right. Mirabai also says this, see if you can relate to this in your process. In times of great change, humans often respond by turning inward and resting in the dark. If you stay present with the discomfort and do not turn away from the unknowing, you will begin to come undone. Crusty old ego structures soften and begin to dissolve. Cherished beliefs lose their grip on you, and you are released into the mystery. Anybody in that phase of deconstruction? Things you really believed in, yeah. And so you get a sense, you can't raise someone else's hand. I mean, you can. See how that works. I lost my train of thought. Once the imaginal cells have done their work forming eyes and wings and antennae, the butterfly is ready to emerge. It wiggles its way out of the cocoon and into the world. But it's not quite ready to fly. It stumbles, clinging to the remnants of its old cocoon, with a couple of legs reaching for a branch and a couple of legs holding onto the cocoon and the middle one's holding on, just trying to steady. Anybody feel like that? You've started some stuff, you're letting go of some stuff, but you're still stuck a little. Yeah, it's a process, right? The Spanish mystic Teresa of Avila has a solution for this. Just let go. I know, Teresa. But it's that old thing, and you know, and I know what that means, because if you don't, you get ripped apart. So that is where, yes, there's suffering, and then there's like the suffering around the suffering, because we won't just kind of let it do its work with us. We resist it, deny it. But this is what all the mystics of all the traditions mean when they urge us to die before we die. You know, you've heard that, yes? You have to, Jesus certainly taught it. You have to die before you die. I'm sorry, what? You have to die to the limits of who you've thought yourself to be if you want to continue to develop and expand into your fullness. Good luck trying to recover from the human condition, she says. Instead, we're meant to unfold and grow as we go. I want to share one last thing with you that really resonated with me from the book. And Summer, you're the one that brought this statement into my awareness. Mirabai shares it from her brother-in-law, who has a fond saying of just saying, relax, you're not in trouble. And she said it really resonated with her. Like, she shares that if you're anything like the rest of us, this message comes in handy at least 12 times a day. Sometimes I catch myself swirling in free-floating anxiety, and I tune in, and I recognize it's connected to some vague sense that I've done something wrong. And even more than that, when I tune in, that I am something wrong. Something's wrong with me. And when I inquire further into that feeling, I realize that the former is rarely the case. Rarely have we even done anything wrong. Sometimes we do. But never is it true that we are fundamentally wrong. So doing the work to unplug that, and we all, have our stories about how it came to be. How many can identify with that? Okay. So what in the Sam hell is going on? That gets into our being. Let's get it out. Let's unplug it. She says, I am okay just as I am, and so are you. The reason I can recognize the shame game is because it has such a familiar face, but I can tell you it is a mask. And I've unveiled it enough to know that it covers something authentic and tender and beautiful. We are so hard on ourselves. We can't understand how it is that years of psychotherapy and silent retreats haven't neutralized all of our neurotic tendencies. It can be such a relief to let go of the unhelpful and untrue notion that you should be cured by now of the personality quirks and mental patterns that you have always been plagued by. Again, good luck trying to recover from the human condition. And that's just an invitation. It's not a free pass, like, well then, right? It's just an invitation to let it be part of the whole becoming, part of the whole story, part of the whole of you, instead of something's wrong that's got to be fixed or alienated or exiled or She closes with this: give your sweet self a break for being a regular person on a path of awakening. You are not in trouble. Instead, consider how by following the threads of injustice, we arrive at foundational goodness. In opening ourselves to the depths of suffering, we are blessed with the capacity to cradle the heart of the world. So as I said from that prayer that's often offered for Kuan Yin, may this suffering result in greater compassion. Hold that for yourself too. So I'd like to lead us in a meditation that Mirabai offered in this chaplain. In this chapter. Tonglen meditation. Have any of you experienced Tonglen? Yeah. Tonglen the word Tonglen comes from the Tibetan concept of giving and receiving. In the Buddhist meditation, it's designed to awaken compassion and dissolve self-centeredness. By trusting, in the Buddhist tradition, the Buddha within, you might say the Christ within, or your divine nature, to transmute suffering, to take it and mush it into the goop and transmute it into something of value. And the invitation, and I invite you to do this as you're comfortable with it, is that we will make our hearts available to hold the suffering of our community, of our world. And if you are in a place of great suffering, then let yourself just be held in it. You don't have to participate. If you find resistance in your body in any way, that is certainly fine. So this came through the work of Pema Chodron, and I'm going to share it with you as Mirabai shared it. So I invite you to sit comfortably, maybe sit up in your chair so you're less likely to snooze, but you can snooze. We'll ring the singing bowl, tuned to our heart chakra. Just invite that sound to take you inward, as well as your breath. So sitting comfortably with your spine aligned. Take 3 full breaths. Inhaling as deeply as you can and holding it. Holding that inhalation for as long as you can and then breathing it out as slowly as you can. Three full breaths. Feel the way your conscious breathing washes through you. And connect with that feeling of breath in your body. And now picture someone, somewhere, who is suffering. It may be a person you know, or someone you heard about, or even someone you saw in the news. They may be physically suffering or emotionally suffering or both. Just allow that person's pain to touch your heart. Let it in. And believe in your own capacity to contain the suffering of another. Feeling another's pain will not harm you. It will not damage you. Your heart will expand. Your heart can hold their burden. So take a breath. Visualize their suffering as a dark, hot, heavy energy. And on the out-breath, extend relief. Breathing in, it feels heavy and hot and dark. And breathing out, we're visualizing a bright, refreshing buoyancy. Breathing in a level of distress and breathing out peace and compassion. Imagine that your breath is medicine, is sunlight, is a loving touch with the power to alleviate suffering. And trust that the basic goodness of your own heart is powerful enough to transmute their pain. The only impact of this practice is increasing your compassion. So now include yourself in this circle of care. Know that whatever you are going through, countless others are experiencing a similar version at this very moment. So as you breathe in, allow your distress to connect you with the tender embrace of the whole human family. May all suffering result in greater compassion. So taking a deep breath in and exhaling out, letting that experience go. And giving thanks in your own way for this miraculous life and this expansive heart that can hold it all. And indeed, this power within us to transmute suffering into greater understanding, greater awareness. And greater participation in the giving and the taking. So just invite you to bring your awareness back to this time and space. And I want to just let you know that we'll be kicking off a new series next Sunday, a summer series. I wanted to do something fun and awe-inspiring and creative. So I'll be taking some inspiration from the book, The Artist's Way. I know many of you have done this. If you're like me, I've had it on my bookshelf for 25 years. There's 3 new editions. I've got the new edition now. We do have the new edition available in the remnants of the bookstore. You can go into the food pantry to pay for it. Today we'll have the bookstore in place next Sunday. But this feels like a nice transition out of ordinary mysticism, seeing our lives as sacred, into creativity, our natural creativity. Every one of it. If you're like me, listen, you've sent me down with art supplies, ask Heidi. I start hyperventilating. I can't do it. So let that go. You know, you might be an artist in the traditional form, but really in a way, what I'm doing here with you is a form of art, right? What you do anywhere, you can get more creative with. You can recognize that's your capacity to express the great creator through your creativity. So I'm excited about it. I hope that you will be excited about it as well. And we'll have, for better or worse, we're going to have weekly check-ins for those of you going deeper and doing the morning pages and all that to see how you're doing. So we'll do that every Wednesday via Zoom for 12 weeks. Happy summer!
We are all artists. Whatever you're called to do is your art. Use your art. We're also all souls in earth suits just trying to figure out this human experience. And we remind each other often, the only reason we're not up here like giving you, because we got this all figured out, because we don't. We're figuring it out on the fly, just publicly. Right? You're welcome. I ain't afraid. One of these days, something's gonna move you, something's gonna groove you, something's gonna change. One of these days, oh no, yeah. One of these days, something's gonna make you feel there's something you've been missing. And one of these days, oh no, yeah. And it will not have a name, but it'll shoot right through your soul. Your whole world will crack open, and then you'll know that you know. One of these days, one of these days, change is happening. whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, whether or not you approve. And one of these days, it's gonna realize that you'd be better off recognizing the role that you play within this human existence. You benefit for your highest purpose to be consciously aware to your connection to all that is. And when that day happens, it will be the day that you finally realize that you are not separate. You don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. You don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up. Ah, one of these days, something's gonna lift you, something's gonna shift you, something's gonna change. One of these days, oh yeah. One of these days, something's gonna make you feel something you've been missing. One of these days, oh yeah. And it won't come from out there, it'll come from inside. It'll start so soft and low, and then go into a fire. One of these days, one of these days. You are a being of light. Do you know what that means? It means that you're not broken and you can never be destroyed. One of these days, it's going to occur to you that standing against anything is not rising up. But standing for love is where we transcend. And we were built for transcendence, people. We were designed for greatness. Greatness is not reserved for anyone. Greatness is open to everyone. You don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how, you just gotta move. Now get up, get up, get up. One of these days, something's gonna lift you, something's gonna shift you, something's gonna change. One of these days, oh yeah. One of these days, something's gonna turn around, show you who you are. One of these days, and it won't come from out there, it'll come from inside. It'll start so soft and low, and then grow into a fire. One of these days, one of these days, it's where you're gonna go from here. Spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? Spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? Spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? It's a spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? It's a spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? It's a spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? Spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, where you gonna go from here? It's a spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? It's a spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? It's a spiritual revolution, I said, where you gonna go from here? Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, one of these days, something's gonna change. Something's gonna change inside. One of these days, something's gonna change. Something's gonna change. Something's gonna change. Oh. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh yeah.